What is worse than a nightmare? I said taping for the dark blue lines on the hull was a nightmare. There's the layout for the dark blue lines on the cowling. This is worse than a nightmare. For these lines to look uniform in width on the front of the cowling, you have to cut individual pieces here and here from wider tape. Same for in the back of the cowling, although they don't swell out as much because of it's a shallower angle. And then you have these little pieces in here with tight little bends. Also, the stripe going across the bottom section of the air intake. How do you tape that up to paint it? Bear in mind, I'm going to be painting dark blue lines where this tape is right now. This just gives me my layout, and then I use it as a guide to tape here and here and down here. But how do you tape, leave a nice even amount of white around this exhaust opening? I couldn't even cut this tape very good here. And how do you tape up around the back side of this air intake in here and down under here? Tape doesn't even lay flat on small shapes like that. So yeah, it's a nightmare. If you've been wondering, I have this cowling temporary tack glued to this box so I can handle it and paint it. Came up with a solution. Thinner strips of tape. These are 1/16 of an inch wide, and a toothpick. I can't, even this thinner tape, rub it down tight into these corners with my finger so the paint don't bleed under there. So I'm rubbing it in with a toothpick. Make sure the tape is sticking. And even this thinner tape won't make this transition straight across here. So I have multiple strips. This piece pulled up to here, and then 2 more strips so that I get a straight line across there, and then rub it in that corner, get it nice and tight with a toothpick. Quite mad, really. And I have a piece laid across the bottom, and again I had to rub the tape down underneath the air intake with a toothpick. So I've pulled this piece already, so you can see this is where there'll be a line. I'm done using that for a guide. So I'll be taping now up to these 1/16 wide lines, but they will establish my nice clean painting edge. Ready for some dark blue paint. I can't tell you how many pieces of tape that is. Wasn't kidding when I said I used a lot of tape. No idea how many pieces. So fun to pull it off though. See what you got. Got a little bit of bleed through. Same thing on the other parts of the boat that I painted. Better than I expected though, with all those little tiny pieces I was using. It'll clean up nice after it cures out with a razor. Carefully scrape to the edges. Beautiful lines on some complex shapes, so really happy with that. Here's a look at all the parts of the boat with the dark blue lines laid out and painted. Complete madness, paint job like this. I don't recommend it. Here's a look at these parts we have already cleaned up the bleed through. Just use the tip of my number 11 X-Acto knife, scrape to the edges of the lines. Doesn't have much bite to the white paint, the bleed through. With patience, it cleans up easy enough. But that's the worst of it. And we're looking at pictures and figuring out all the layout. I'll just be taping to these lines for the light blue panels now.